Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much to the mayor, secretary, to everyone who's here today, and all the supporters of this forum. So there's a quote I really like on leadership, and it goes like this. I learned to always take on things I've never done before, because growth and comfort cannot coexist. This is a quote by Jenny Rometty. She is the CEO and chairman of IBM, the first female CEO of this company, of a major corporation. And why I raise this quote with you is because I think this same ethos needs to be applied to the environmental movement. We need to get a little bit uncomfortable. Now, we're all optimists in this room, despite these pessimistic statistics. You are all here because you believe in change. You believe that nature and humans can live together forever in harmony without undermining our planet. But as we know, science tells us we don't have a lot of time. The clock is ticking. The last IPCC report basically put us all on a clock, that we have around 12 years, just over a decade, to avoid the worst catastrophic events of climate change. But yet the role of nature and the critical role of indigenous people is still massively undervalued. If we took all of the passenger cars and vehicles off the road tomorrow, we would still not hit our goals under Paris because of unsustainable land use. To put it another way, if deforestation were a country, it would be the third largest emitter after the US and China. That's the situation we are in, and that's why we are all here. We need radical collaboration to create a future that puts nature and indigenous communities first. And I have to be honest with you, we, the environmental community, we're not so great at radical collaboration. Perhaps it's because it forces us out of our comfort zones. It forces us to put our own egos aside, the own objectives of our individual organizations aside, and focus not just on success for ourselves or our organization, but really the real goal, which is a planet that we can all be proud of to leave for our children. None of us here wants to live wasted lives. Lives we have spent almost getting it right, almost avoiding the worst impacts of climate change. I don't know about you, but I'm not satisfied with almost. I don't want to leave my 11-year-old daughter a world of almost. So to avoid this, we must seek out, highlight, and replicate radical collaboration. But we do have some examples. One of my favorites is a collaboration between NASA scientists and indigenous people in Ecuador and Peru. They're working together to measure the treasure of indigenous lands and partner with indigenous people to help protect those lands. Now, we heard earlier that tropical forests controlled by indigenous people store an estimated 25% of the world's potential carbon emissions and 80% of the world's biodiversity. But these territories are vast and are under massive threats from the outside, from illegal mining, from logging, and many other activities. And often these areas are so large that it's difficult to understand what's happening and track the trends and help to protect them. So recently, a team of partners from Conservation International and NASA partner with local indigenous communities to explore how technology and Earth observation systems can help partner with indigenous communities to better steward and protect these lands in Peru and Ecuador, using both modern and traditional techniques together. This type of partnership only adds to the incredible depths of indigenous knowledge already there. So bringing rocket scientists together with indigenous people to protect forests will take us in new directions. This is just one example of radical collaboration in leadership that we need. This partnership highlights another critical point and why we're all here today. We need to lift up the non-traditional leader. We must highlight, shout about, and embrace leadership in all forms, from Indigenous leaders to youth activists to many others, to the true superheroes of our movement, the environmental defenders around the world who are risking their lives every single day for us and for our planet. But why do we often not hear about these leaders until they have become martyrs for this cause? Should we not all be doing more in the era of radical transparency in social media to lift up these voices? The environmental problems we face are requiring leadership from all corners, from school walkouts to massive protests to individuals pushing aside fear because they know they must speak out. That is leadership. We all must be leaders in our own way to solve the greatest challenges of our generation. But this will require doing things we've never done, getting outside of our comfort zone, because truly growth and comfort cannot coexist if we are to succeed. So we cannot make small plans, but we also cannot make big plans on our own if we're truly to succeed. We have to work in radical collaboration. So thank you to the GLF family for bringing us all here together, and I look forward to today's proceedings. Thank you.